So I've always been a giant fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and I think all of them are pretty much goated in honesty. And I never played the game that came out about a few years ago because I heard from some people that it was horrible. But then a lot of other people said it was actually super fun, which is why in today's video I'm going to be getting the Platinum Trophy on Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a shocking 59 trophies in it, with nearly every single one coming from the story. And it is very possible to get all of the trophies in one single playthrough of the game, which was my goal going into this, to finish as fast as possible. The game opens up with you as young Star-Lord just jamming out to some banger tunes on the 1980s Apple AirPods that they had. After a few moments, MILF Alert waltzes in, and this game is already gonna be a banger, I can tell. This lady is your mother, by the way, and it's also Star-Lord's birthday today. So let's all wish him a big happy birthday. Boy, would it be bad if something tragic happens. Before that though, you wake up and are now in reality as Star-Lord much later on. Also, Drax was trying to give you a smooch, which is definitely interesting. And I gotta say, off rip, that Drax is low-key hilarious in this game, and he honestly carried it super hard. Anyways, you and the Guardians of the Galaxy squad are like already established and stuff, so this isn't really an origin story game. And you're immediately put into the first quote-unquote job that you have to do. The objective is to find some creature and kill/capture it on this really odd wastelandish planet thing, which is covered in pink goo, or Pepto-Bismol. But this beginning mission, you pretty much just wander around learning the movement and the first few combat related things you can do. At one point, however, after fighting some really weird looking enemies, I went in my inventory type screen and purchased my first skill point upgrade, which was the first trophy of the day. After that, we ended up sliding down this metal chute, which was awesome and reminded me a lot of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and I'm now disappointed that there's no gingers in this game. Anyways, we almost fell to our immediate death, but thankfully Gamora whipped out the ship for us to smack onto. So now we just have a few broken bones and are completely fine. Rocket also had a little competition going with us to see who could break the most of these infected enemies that cling to walls, and I won easily since I am not a damn raccoon. After that, Peter and Rocket found this glowing crystal thing that looks expensive, so they both raced after it, and I yet again won because I'm not a raccoon.
What's a raccoon?
But when picked up, it burns you in the hand, and also a weird creature is inside of it. This same monster is also the game's main villain. I love how they are exposing us to it right away. It really lets my butt cavities get ready for a fun day at the office. After that, we got to fight the first harder enemy of the game that doesn't just immediately die, and while emptying my mags into it endlessly, I got a trophy for using Drax's combat abilities a lot, which is neat. We then had another giant fight after, but the entire squad died, and I had to do a team meeting with them all, which is this sort of cringe thing this game has where you literally just give them a pep talk and it hypes everyone up, which gives you more HP and faster recharge rates. So it's kind of a cool concept, I guess, but it literally might be the most cringy thing I've ever seen, except for Jack Doherty's YouTube channel. Later on in the same mission, we actually got to fight a real monster, and after some shooting around at nothingness, Groot captured it and we got a trophy. But it turned out to be just a llama for some reason. At the ending of the first mission, you get to actually do some ship flying, which is oddly fun, although I'm pretty sure you can't die even if you try to here. But that's okay, because once we escaped from certain doom, the ship got hit with an EMP and went unfunctional on us. And another trophy popped. Sadly, the people who captured us were the Nova people, and they don't like us because apparently we committed a quote-unquote criminal offense by just doing an honest day's work in the pink goo area. I didn't understand it, but we ended up in their ship all handcuffed up and everything. Also, we didn't have enough street cred yet, so this girl was our booking officer and was in charge of taking us to prison. Man, wouldn't it be bad if everything just blew up right now and ruined her first big job as a young trainee? Yeah, so everything blew up. Somehow Star Daddy Lord ended up saving the little girl though, and then you basically just take a nice peaceful walk with her down many hallways talking about feelings and woman empowerment. Eventually, we got caught up with the Nova Corp's main leader woman, who Peter, conveniently enough, banged in the past, as a matter of fact. And he was also pretty convinced that kid is his, but we will find out later on in the story if it is or not. So they ended up letting us go after literal terrorism occurred and us nearly dying in their care. And they also gave us a fine for a small price of 8,000 galactic credits. I'm not sure what the conversion rate is in this universe, but everyone was pissed and I can imagine that's a lot. So we did get a trophy after that ordeal, but also have to now pay back the debt, which is the next goal of the game. Before anything else though, I changed outfits for giggles and got a trophy. Next mission has you go to a planet where Lady Hellbringer resides. She is this quote-unquote legendary warrior and also participates in the sale of monsters or just deadly animals. The genius idea for the squad is to sell her either Groot or Rocket in exchange for enough credits to pay off the fine we just got, and also then to steal back the homie we sold. What a foolproof plan, I know. Anyways, about halfway through the journey to her fortress, me and the entire squad besides Gamora all fell into a sort of quicksand-like substance, and we are actually about to die. Especially Rocket, that poor dude ain't got the height to breathe no more. So since Peter isn't a superhero, he had no idea what to do. But thankfully his guns did and just decided to turn on freeze mode for the brother, which saved everyone. And we also can now use freeze rounds on the elemental gun that Peter has, which he didn't know of. And we got a trophy. You then get to battle a load of jello molds right after, which was insane. Like, just look at the recoil on those things. Reminds me so much of your mother in college. But if you use the freeze guns a lot, you'll get a trophy fast after unlocking them, as I did. There's also a boss fight thing with this frozen creature straight out of Stranger Things. Thankfully no lesbians showed up, and it was just Drax battling the creature, which gives you a trophy. We made it to the fortress, and for some reason Lady Hellbringer built it miles away, floating in the middle of nowhere. Classy. But we put Groot in that cage and are literally just dragging him the whole way there. This was so boring. Star-Lord literally spaced out back to his childhood's tragic day. And while there, we talked to the MILF again, until going up to her room to grab our birthday present. Sadly, the flashback ended again before anything happened. But we did get a trophy. And we made it to the fortress after who knows how long. At the gate, you also get confronted by some intelligent beings who let us in without much questioning at all. Next, we got sent straight up to Lady Hellbringer, and Lord have mercy, I don't know whether to be turned on right now or afraid. Hell, I might be both. Just look at the size of that creation. So in conclusion, Lady Hellbringer and Drax are perfect soulmates and even have a funny flirting session in front of us all. She also buys Groot for 12,000 credits, which is well above the fine we needed. A while later, we are of course trying to steal Groot back from the lady, and we're just searching her animal stables for him. Rocket ends up spotting Groot, but the dude is looking weird as hell, I ain't gonna lie. I've never seen him be so quiet and stoic before. So it wasn't a surprise when we found out that it actually wasn't Groot, and we had been set up by this shape-shifting little bastard. However, I wonder if it can transform into Mariah Carey or not. Lady Hellbringer was of course angry at us, so she sent this giant squid-like thing to kill us, but the creature was low-key balls, and even with 4 hands didn't accomplish anything. Also, I just realized her name is Lady Hellbender and not Hellbringer. I don't care. So that was disappointing to say the least, but my dumb team kept going down and I revived so many of them I got a trophy for doing that. And then of course once you take out the squid boss, you also get a trophy in addition to ink everywhere. And I mean everywhere. You then again fly away from your problems, but this time I'm pretty sure Lady Hellbender low-key gave up. Like, what the hell is even this? I won't complain, a trophy is a trophy. Now that we have the money, we headed back to Nova to pay the fine off, except this time there was literally nobody there and it was extremely eerie to say the least. At one point though, we run into the Nova people and see they are possessed or under some sort of spell. Mostly due to the obvious purple glow coming out of their heads, but they also smelled weird. So we killed them all. I also ended up getting a combat trophy doing some fighting here. After the fighting though, we walk up on a dang ritual going on and have 100% come to the conclusion that this is some shady religion things going on. And it's also what I imagine might be happening at some churches down in the south, I'm not gonna lie. We did manage to fly away again from our problems for another time, which was awesome, and got a trophy. So we headed to Nowhere next, which is this outpost for mostly criminals to hang out at. But there's also this dog named Cosmos who runs it and can do a lot of super cool things in addition. So Peter had the great idea to tell him about the horrible things we saw happen in Nova to make sure the world doesn't end. Nowhere was honestly dope, I won't lie, but I somehow ended up in this gross part of it, and it wasn't a help when 2 of Lady Hellbringer's minions also showed up to ruin the party even more. These guys are also like low-key invincible, which made this fight impossible to win. However, at the end of it, I did get a trophy. But then we all got captured by something, and Peter had another dream back to the tragic birthday party. Finally, though, we got to the climax. I've been edging this whole time for this moment. So yeah, the MILF gets shot and dies. Dang it. Anyways, we awoke again in some super creepy prison, but it must have good health standards since there isn't trash anywhere. Let's just ignore this ever happening. I'm not sure what the hell is going on right now, but I don't want to be here anymore. Okay, thank God that was a dream, because what the hell was that? Cosmos put us all in a trance, as you can see here, because he thought we were stealing from him, which Rocket low-key kind of was, but it wasn't personal, so Cosmos forgave us and took us on a nice stroll with him. We then took a patrol through space and time in the shape of a giant hand. Fist me. Anyways, we ended up in the Nova ship again because we gotta find out more info, of course. But sadly, the gravity was gone, and when I tried to turn it back on, the room opened up to space, and we almost all died. Thankfully, the guns did the thing again and shot out electric bullets this time, unlocking new ammo for us to use in fights, and a trophy. Not much happened except for useless fighting, but after quite some time, we ended up in the lady's office that Peter banged a while back, and got a trophy for reconnecting a long-lost love. We also snooped around lots of girls' rooms, which was awesome as a dude. However, when trying to uncover the mystery of what happened, the religious leaders all showed up to crash the party, and it was kind of disturbing, especially when a giant ship just came and basically ate the Nova ship that I thought was pretty big. It wasn't. We then got given a tour of the church's home base, and all I gotta say is damn, I truly see where the offerings went. There was a pretty funny sequence though of us trying to distract the old fart while Rocket tried to sabotage his cube thing. Low-key I did laugh, I'll admit it. But once we arrived at the destination, we found out that Peter's quote-unquote daughter has actually been brainwashed into being the old guy's ringleader. We then got sent back to the day Peter's mom died, but get to save her this time. And this is how they brainwash people like Peter's daughter. You get to see an alternate life with the loved one you lost that is most important to you. And it's so real, you just get brainwashed into doing whatever to get this promise, as they call it. And for Peter's daughter, it's her mom that Peter banged. She actually died, which is sad. She was a baddie. So yeah, that's how they do it, and you have to snap out of the simulation if you want to continue with the game. You do this, however, by shooting the living and yeah, we got a trophy after the dream thing. The old guy was mad at us after because we didn't want his promise, so he just sent a ton of minions to kill us. While fighting them though, I did another combat thing and got a trophy. The rest of the mission then just had you fight a bunch of religious people. Must be a Monday. I've also been getting collectibles this whole playthrough and ended up grabbing enough to be trophy worthy apparently. There was numerous combat specific trophies for certain enemies throughout the game, and I got one right here with Drax and this giant red monster thing, which looks like a cursed image off of Reddit. And I got another combat trophy later for getting numerous kills while the enemy was stunned with the electricity elemental gun. We then had enough of the fighting and had to escape or else die. And we were just casually sliding down a red goo slide. But we're unaware that space is the ending of it and literally got frozen alive. Also, everyone died, so good game. Just kidding, Gamora showed up with the Mantis and saved us all. How nice. She then gave us a trophy also, and she was off fighting the old guy by herself and took off his arm in the process. He's still alive though. Star-Lord then took the gang back to the Nova place and we paid off the fine, which seems stupid now that Nova is basically ruined, but apparently we are just honorable like that. But you know what's even more honorable? Going down right now and dropping a like and subscribe on this video so we can hit 500k. Anyways, later on the ship, Peter had another bad dream, but it ends once you grow a pair of balls and fight back against the evil monsters. Sadly, you wake up to Drax again and he has been fully corrupted by the promise. Most likely because his wife and kid died right in front of him forever ago. Yeah, that would do it. I don't blame the guy. Anyways, the next mission has us chasing after him since he is hunting something on this planet. But we find out pretty fast that it's sort of a joke because Mantis showed up, who was a homie, and said she actually dragged us here to cure Drax because she can see the future. Privileged bitch. So now we just wander around with Mantis for the entire mission as she rides Drax on his back. However, Drax got free at one point and was about to kill us all, but Peter's guns did the thing once again and saved the day. Low-key, I think his guns need their own game because of how clutch they are. After a lot more walking, we ended up at the final destination, and it was Adam Warlock's home, as a matter of fact, who is the only dude that can harness the darkness and save us all. Yet nobody knows his name. Mantis then sends us into Drax's mind to fix the guy, and we got a trophy. Also, you have to die on purpose during a fight while in his mind. It's a little bit of a mind trick, but you get a trophy for doing that. There is then a lot of character building moments, team bonding, and also us finding out how screwed Peter's daughter and dead ex-girlfriend are. Eventually, the mind games ended and the entire planet is now under siege from the church, but we got a trophy, it's fine. I then received another trophy for collecting more collectibles, some random combat trophy, and unlocking skills for every single character on the squad. Right after that, I also did a quick action kill with Groot, which sent a poor man to the shadows. I then did a tag team trophy with Gamora, Drax, and also got enough kills using the wind element gun power, which was pretty sweet actually. So this entire time I've been getting trophies, we have pretty much just been fighting a load of enemies while in the enemy's base, and it continues with me getting another for defeating 20 enemies with Rocket's missiles power-up thing. Cosmos the dog also got corrupted sadly, and we almost had to put him down, but he broke out of it because he is the best boy in the world and is now going to help us in the future. We finally made it to the destination we have been after this whole time. Peter's daughter is just locked up in this machine, and that's bad. Thankfully, there is a very obvious power structure that we then go through and turn off one by one. Before that, I got a trophy for defeating enemies using Gamora's powers though. So we shut off the power after unplugging everything just to have a talk with the bad guys, only to have them then shoot at us and fly away, leaving peacefully. Cringe. But I got a trophy. The next trophy I got was for unlocking the fire elements on my gun, which is needed when we landed on this frozen planet in search of some monster we wanted to capture in exchange for Lady Hellbender's help from the beginning. Before finding the big monster though, I got another combat trophy. We then found the giant ice dragon creature and had a decently hard boss fight with it, which took quite a while honestly. However, once defeating it, you get a trophy. And then Lady Hellbender shows up out of nowhere. Talk about coincidences. Just kidding, Mantis told her. So we then explained to her the situation and how everyone is gonna die. She agrees to help. And actually got 2 trophies after, which was dope. Now it's the final mission, which has us go back after the church at their home base ship place, but this time we have Lady Hellbender and her massive army of monsters to help us not all die instantly. I ended up getting a load of trophies here, first for some random combat thing as you do, and then a while later we made it to Peter's daughter, but got given a brain aneurysm basically, which ended with the trophy. You then play as Peter inside of his daughter's promise, where her mom actually comes back from death, and you basically gotta try to make her see the truth. I failed in this a lot though because I suck at talking about my feelings to women, but after looking it up I got it. Also, we found out that the girl isn't actually Peter's daughter, but I'm still gonna call her that. So we end up pulling her out of the trance, and the bitch turns into a ginger somehow. Not the ideal outcome, I'm not gonna lie. That's what I'm saying. But you did get to boss battle the old guy after, and it was one of the most annoying fights ever. However, it did end with a trophy and him actually dying, which was cool. The Warlock also spent the entire time then just sucking in the monster straight into his brain. That can't be healthy. So we actually got credits, and I thought it was the end of the game. They even gave us a trophy after them. But it puts us back on the ship, and we see Adam Warlock turn evil. I mean, it's not a surprise. He literally consumed the entire demon, so that this is kind of expected. The fight with him, though, was really easy and ends in you just shoving the soul stone into him, and it was kind of epic. I then got 2 trophies, and we see Star-Lord having a rough hangover from that encounter. He then talked to himself in a mirror for 15 minutes, and the game ended with the final game story trophy. Low-key banger story. I thought it was super funny, but the grind isn't quite over since I did miss 2 trophies and also have to go and equip every single outfit in the game, which is easy. It can be done instantly in New Game Plus, which is what I did. The next 2, however, were super stupid and are only attainable on these special enemies in certain chapters of the game. The first one, I had to have Gamora interrupt this Nova Centurion attack, which only happens once a fight and can go to any Guardian. So it's sort of RNG as hell, but I actually did a first try when I went back in the chapter select. The final one, however, needed Groot to attack this rock monster with the same type of quick action. And Lord have mercy, this one was definitely not a first try instance. In fact, I had to reset 6 times before he finally did it, or I even got the option to do it. But yeah, I got that trophy and then the platinum after. So overall, this game was loads of fun, and I also thought it was funny in general. The trophies in it were also surprisingly fun for a change, mostly because there was so many it kept me super engaged. You know, most story games have like nothing at all until the cleanup section at the end, but this one was surprisingly spread out very well. Yeah.